Welcome back to the DJing Dad Podcast for weddings, music, and real life meet. I'm your host, DJ Torture. Man, I got one today, y'all. Guestzilla. That's right. I said Guestzilla. I had a Guestzilla. Um, I'm not gonna say the date because I really don't want to call out the wedding because the wedding was amazing. Um, this young lady, wow. In all the years I've been doing this, never had somebody. I've never had somebody act this way. It's crazy. I've had people say crazy stuff to me, like, in the nightclub and get mad at the DJ and used to that. So basically, it all started. I thought she was kidding. So when all this started, I thought she was kidding. So she comes to the DJ booth. She comes on the right side of the DJ booth, and she's kind of okay. Back up. For some context, I was going pretty hard on some club stuff throughout the wedding, throughout the night, and everybody's dancing, having a great time. The bride and groom been on the dance floor all night long. So what else can you ask for as a DJ? Everybody's out there having a good time. Even grandma, mom, dad, everybody's just having a great time. Kind of a smaller crowd, so wasn't expecting a whole lot. They said their crowd wasn't really a dancing crowd. They came out there and had a good time. Anyway, on to that. So we're going pretty hard, and it's getting towards the end of the night. And the bride had some must plays on her list. They weren't super like danceable. I wouldn't say danceable, but really club style of the vibe they were going. But with the must plays, we always make sure we play the must plays. That's why we have the must play list. So it gets towards the end of the night. So I'm like, okay, let me make sure to hit the bride's must plays or finish off. I had already done the majority of them. And there was a few on there, and she's on the dance floor. So I said, let me just hit the rest of these must plays. So I start playing the must plays that are on the bride's list. And this young lady comes up to the side and she goes like, "What's this?" I said, "Well, these are the bride's must plays." And we just kind of got to get through these. And towards the end of the night, I kind of gave you guys, the club atmosphere. Let me take care of, the bride's must plays. So I thought that would be the end of it. As she goes to walk away, she walks in front of the DJ booth. She stops and turns around, comes back, and she starts going crazy. "I've been on the dance floor all night. I brought everybody to the dance floor. I brought grandma out there. I got everybody up. I went and got people. I brought them to the dance floor. And then you're going to play some shit like this and da 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 da." And at this time, I'm still thinking she's messing with me. You know how some people come up to the DJ and give us a hard time. I was wrong. She was very upset about the bride's must plays. Let me repeat that. The bride's must plays. So she proceeds to go on and, say all this stuff. And she's going on. Then she goes over to the left side of the DJ booth where me and my videographer are already confused on what's going on. So she comes over and she's going, saying this and saying, "I did this and I got everybody out there." And I very calmly looked at her. I very calmly looked at her and I said, "We'll review the footage." And she said, "Huh?" And I pointed to my 360 camera and my camera that I had running behind me. Now, I run these cameras for footage and for content and things like that, but I also run the cameras to cover myself. So if they say, "Well, I went up to the DJ and he was absolutely rude to me," well, I can pull up the video footage and prove it all wrong. Have I ever had that happen? At this point, no, but just to make sure. So finally, back to the story. So finally, I walk over to her and I tell her, "Calm down." I said, "Wait a minute, time out, calm down. What's the problem?" And she got up. She's like, "Well, you're playing all these songs and nobody wants to hear this." Meanwhile, everybody but her is on the dance floor. The bride and groom were on the dance floor having a great time. So with all this going on, a couple of the bridesmaids come over to see kind of what the commotion is because they could tell we're not really arguing, but having a conversation. They could tell she was upset. So the bridesmaids are like, "What's going on?" I say, "She's upset about the music." And they were like, "Yeah, why did you change the music?" I said, "Well, these are her must plays. I wanted to make sure we got those in." And the bridesmaids are, oh, okay, yeah, it's her wedding, so yeah, no big deal. We had our fun, or let's go enjoy the rest of the night with the bride and groom because we only had like I think 30 minutes, 30 or 40 minutes left. So she's highly upset. So I'm thinking, okay, this is over with. No. She goes over in a corner. And we could see her from the DJ booth. She goes over in a corner and she sits down at the table and starts pouting like a little kid. So I'm like, this cannot be real. So comes to the end of the night, to the last song. Now, me being me, I thought it was over with. I'm like, okay, this lady's done. The wedding was close to Christmas. So the theme and colors for the wedding was kind of Christmas type, green, red, burgundy, those type of colors, black. Well, this lady, I think she was a plus one of a plus one because she had on a blue dress and she didn't look like she knew the bride or the groom. But she was there partying, having a good time. So, last song of the night, the bride's last song that she chose, on our app and everything was Bruce Springsteen, Santa Claus is coming to town. No problem. It's close to Christmas. So I make the announcement, get everybody to the dance floor so, they can enjoy that last moment with the bride and groom. Everybody comes out, but guess who? She doesn't come out. She's still sitting in the corner pouting. She's like, what kind of DJ plays this as the last song? And we told her this is what the bride chose. So night ends, bride and groom come over, we take pictures and, they tell us, they had fun, great job, this and that. Everybody's coming over and, as we're packing up. So me and my videographer, we're talking about this and we're just kind of giggling and laughing because we're just like, this can't be real. So we kind of wait for things to simmer down a little bit. And then we go outside to get our stuff, get our carts and everything so we can pack up and get out of there. So I go outside and my videographer, he's at his car. So I go over to his car and I'm talking to him and I'm like, did that really just happen? And he was like, yeah, that's crazy. And I said, man, I've never dealt with that. So I said, did she already come outside? And about that time, she comes out the door. Now, she can't hear us because she's far enough away from us, but she can see us standing there. So him and I proceed to walk to my van so I can pull my van over to the front of the building and get all of our carts and bags and cases and everything inside so we can pack up and leave. As we're walking across the parking lot, so is she, and I believe the girl she came with. She looks over at us, gives us both the finger, and says, fuck you guys. Now, it's kind of chilly outside, so there's not a whole lot going on outside, but there's people outside. So they just kind of look and I just go, like, I don't know. And only thing I can say to her was thanks for the content for a podcast, because I definitely got to talk about this. But I've never had something like that happen. It was absolutely nuts. I mean, to think that she was really truly upset about the bride's must plays. I mean, this is the bride's day, not her day. And that's for the guests too. Like, yes, we want the guests to dance, but our main concern is our bride and groom. We want to make sure they have a great time. I mean, this is by far probably the best day of their life. They're marrying the person that they plan on spending the rest of their life with. We aim to make sure that our couples have the best time that they can possibly have. It's their special day. But it was just absolutely nuts. Like, I still can't believe this, and we still talk about this because it is just, here it is, February of next year. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I cannot believe that happened. I mean, I've seen some crazy things at weddings, and just, so it's almost like you have to pay attention to who you invite to your wedding. Because I could have been, I could have handled it way different. If it was me 10 years ago, probably would have handled it a lot less professional. Um, and my wife asked me, she goes, did you tell the bride and groom about this? Absolutely not. The bride and groom need not to know anything about that unless it becomes a situation. Never bring a situation to the bride and groom that's they could possibly change how their night went or just any of that. Like it doesn't really matter at this point because it was handled. Now, I do have the video footage. I did make a 360 video with my 360 camera. I'm debating on if I'm going to post it or not. Because you can't really hear everything she's saying, but you can definitely see how mad she is, and it's unbelievable, you know. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna post that video just yet. You know, I just wanted to talk about it here on the podcast. I mean, I want to get some more people on here so we can just tell some stories because I know there's other vendors and DJs and coordinators and venues that have some crazy stories. I mean, sometimes we all kind of get together at some of the wedding shows and kind of tell stories here and there, but it's absolutely nuts. Moral to the story is take care of your couple. Your couple is what's most important. We want to make sure they have the most incredible night that they possibly can. And you're going to deal with guests, that are going to be upset, but you just got to be professional and push on because at the end of the day, you had that meeting with your couple on what they wanted, didn't want, how they wanted things to flow, the vibe of the night, So yeah, it's it's definitely it was definitely a first time for me to have something like that happen. I've seen a lot in my 25 plus years, but that takes the cake. I mean, we've had moms get mad, but that was because the bride wanted certain things and the mom didn't want that. Well, sorry, mom. It's the bride, it's her wedding. It's not yours, That's one thing. Like as a guest, you're there to celebrate the couple. So it's not about you. Yeah, yes, everybody wants everybody to have a good time, but you're there to celebrate the couple. Let's celebrate our couples. I mean, get on the dance floor with them, and just have a great time because you got to build the memories. Also, while doing that, you always have to remember things too. Um, your couples, you're going to work with generally one time. Generally one time they're going to get married. They may use you for other gigs and things like that. But always remember you're in a venue that you're probably going to work in multiple times in that year or that you're trying to get on their list. So you also have to learn how to draw that line. Um, and what I mean by drawing that line is if the venue tells you one thing, but your couple tells you another, what do you do? To me, venue trumps everything. Yes, our bride and groom are the most important. But if I go against the venue's rules, that hurts that venue DJ relationship to where you may never work in that venue again. So you kind of have to pick your battles. A lot of times what I would do is if it come to a point where it's something the venue is saying and the bride is saying, things are in the contract or you don't know what's in the contract for the venue, the best thing to do is get that venue coordinator and the couple and kind of get everybody together and say, hey, what exactly are we doing? Don't just fly off the handle about something. The bride and groom told me to do this, or the venue told me to do this. Like, you still have to be professional. It's still somebody's special day. So you have to handle it like a professional. Just start thinking like, okay, where's the couple coming from? Where's the venue coming from? But if the venue has a strict rule and the couple's breaking it, that may be in their contracts. Talk to the venue. Don't get upset and just try to work through it. Don't make any decision on your own, because it could go really, really bad. I've seen where a DJ has been like, well, the bride and groom told me to do this, so I did this. And it completely tarnished their relationship with the venue and other venues. Because just like DJs, venues talk too. So you have to do right by both of your clients. And that's really, really tough, trying to make sure the venue is happy and the couple is happy if it comes to a situation where they're not aligned on certain things. So yeah, just a small piece of advice on that. You know, just be professional and try to handle it the best way that you can. Don't get yourself pinned up against the wall because let's be honest, a lot of people want to blame a lot of stuff on the DJ. So We don't need that. We already have enough problems with trying to make sure things go flow correctly and not get that rep. Yeah, that's gonna do it today for the DJing Dad podcast. I thank you guys for joining me. Once again, I'm DJ J Torture. If you guys are looking for great DJs for your events, for your parties, for your wedding, make sure you book us, Creation DJs, www.creationdjs.com. That's creation with a K. And if you're a DJ or a fellow vendor, or even a couple, would love to hear your thoughts or questions, or even invite you on just to have a chat, have a good time. Thank you guys for joining me again. So make sure you like and subscribe. And until next time, keep the music rolling.